You don't ever have to get permission from someone to make a joke about them. I suspected this was the answer, but I checked with Armando Iannucci about this. And he says, no, we knew nothing about Huw Edwards.
No, I don't think that they will run with it because it's libelous. That's just as libelous as the Huw Edwards rumour.
We picked his name because at the time he seemed like the most squeaky clean face of the BBC. And it was going to be either him or Attenborough, but they figured that Malcolm would pick a news guy when he was making his joke. He said the only time they were challenged by the BBC lawyer was when Malcolm is scripted as saying it's inevitable as what they'll find in Jimmy Savile's cellar after he's died. And they said, oh no, Jimmy Savile's incredibly litigious. Remember, he was still alive at the time. Armando said, well, we're not saying what's in his cellar, and maybe it's just some old cement and a broken vacuum cleaner, but they would not allow it to be run. I think, first of all, as someone who sort of writes things, occasionally I'll get a call from the comment desk at The Guardian when I file my column, and they'll say, when you're saying this, is it because you know something about this person? And I will almost always say, if it's not clear what I'm saying, then no, the only reason I'm making that joke is because either this person is completely the last person you would think of.
So it's a funny cultural
or
reference.
It's about something, it's about something, because implication, if you imply heavily enough, then it is libelous and you can't defend it in court. It's quite obvious to anyone what you're saying. And so that's the case here. I mean, it's quite interesting thinking about the Huw Edwards story and what was known and what wasn't. And I think when the first lot of the story came out, many people were saying, oh, look, you've driven this man to seek help for mental health and all this sort of thing. But actually, as it turned out, and the Sun were under a real pressure for people saying you shouldn't have run this. But as it turned out, the reason that they were pretty confident with their story is that they had something called someone told me about this, which is the over the years file at the Sun.